Welcome to Whip Finish Wednesday. It is Wednesday night and we're live this evening. Excited to see everyone hop on. It is July the 10th or something. 10th. Got my beautiful bride Katie over here help me out, being the wonderful director that she is. And we're going to go
Hey,
live
Chris.
on Instagram, so everyone can say hello there. What's up, Chris? I don't know where my remote. There it is, so I can see the comments. One thing I like to be able to see is you guys chatting. So Chris and Bill and Chris. Hey, hey, hey. Um, mm, Troy, hello again, and Steve and Barry. While you guys are logging on, I've got a funny story for you. I'm gonna watch on. Darn it, we were a couple minutes late getting on, and the reason is we couldn't figure out why one of the cameras wasn't working, and it was the Vice camera. We were going on and on and on, trying to figure out. When I say we, I really mean Katie was going on and on, trying to figure out what was going on. What's up, Todd? 5 minutes later, we realized it was because it was on my shirt, so it was just black. It looked like it was off on the TV, and we're just trying to fight with it, figuring out why it wasn't sending the signal out. But really, it's just because Steve Yates really likes the black T-shirt as the background, and so I try to wear a black T-shirt, and we thought the one camera wasn't working, and we tried to put gas in it. That's right. It's Jim here. Which Jim, honey?
Jim from um, the sweepstakes
Oh, okay.
email,
Cool.
right?
Is that who just sent us one?
Yeah.
Just I didn't read the email, so I don't know.
Yeah. So Jim, hi, James.
Yep, there he is.
So yes, you can mention it, and I can mention it, and it looks like the place that you went to donated a 1-week trip to their outpost on the Nushta Trout Unlimited. So there's a sweepstakes going through until January of 2025. And this was sent to me by James
Wilson.
Yes. So, yes, you can mention it. And I just mentioned it. And James, is it okay if I put that link here?
So let her know if she can put that link there. What's up, Ed? Haven't seen you in a while. And Katie will do a little thing. And Wes hikes the Smokies. Wes caught a big carp this past weekend, and that looks like a lot of fun. I'd like to get out there and catch a carp with Wes. Anyway, so the fly we're going to tie tonight while we're waiting on Jim to respond to Katie to tell her she can put the link up for. Is it a drawing? Is it an auction? Is it a raffle?
A sweepstakes.
Sweepstakes.
What is Nush, N-U-S-H? Is that a place?
I don't know. N-U-S-H. Oh, what's up, Gary? Trout Limited, Virginia has a sweepstakes with the prize being 1 week in Alaska.
At the Nush Outpost.
Okay, so that's the name of an outpost in Alaska.
And here's the link. So, hey, why not enter the sweepstakes?
Yeah.
Remember when you were little and like you would get the stuff in the mail that was
you
like
to put you on the camera. Get the one to see me while you're talking.
That was like the sweepstakes, and it was like you get all these like who was it that did those? Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yes.
Remember, like at my grandmother's house, I used to get so excited to like open it up and like put all the stickers on and see if we would win, but we never did.
Yeah.
But they'd show up at your door like balloons and everything. Did anybody ever win that thing? Did any of you guys ever win Publishers Clearinghouse?
Does it include airfare back home? Yeah. So I definitely remember the Publishers Clearinghouse, Katie. I'm sure a lot of people will get on the get that in a second.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna put this at the top of the chats so that you can.
So it'll be there for a while. All right. Well, Jim, thanks for sending that to us. We'll put it on top. And if you guys if anyone else has anything like for us to share, let us know. And Gary Barnes hopped on here a second ago, and he is the reason we're tying the fly tonight. You know how it is when you're out fishing. You doesn't matter if you're catching same amount of fish as the next guy. You always want to know what he's tying on. I was doing pretty good. So pretty much we started. Remember the black stimulators in size 12 that we tied live on here. That's what I started with. And I was catching grayling in Alaska on those big black stimulators. And they started going smaller and smaller and smaller. And actually, here is the one of the last flies that I caught fish on, or John Chris, is it me or John Christopher? Did we flip it over to the vise? This is it. This is the one because Gary Hanna, who was with us as well, he cut the parachute post off of it because he was trying to get it as this small and low profile, but black, the black and that
So
little
on
purple.
purpose.
Yep, he cut the
He cut the
got
whole
rid of
thing
the
off.
got rid of that top part.
So
Just
all that was
cut it
left
off.
was
All that was left was that right there, and of course the flash got ripped off. That was catching fish. But that's a size, I don't know, 12, 14. But as the week went on, the flies got smaller and smaller and smaller, and relatively this still isn't that small. But Gary was having a lot of luck with renegades, so I didn't have any. So just like normally, start thinking, gosh, I wish I'd brought some. So the good thing about renegades is I've heard that they were invented in Idaho and Colorado, but let's flip it over to the back to the device here. So here's size 16 Renegade. It's very similar to this one I just now tied up. Very similar to what Gary was fishing, size 16s. Pretty simple pattern, but they work well in Gary. What's up, True Man? Golly, every time I look down, someone awesome's hopping on and saying, hey, love to see you there, Truman. You're about to get flooded with everyone saying, Truman. Anywho, these can represent small terrestrials, just a little bit of everything. So caddises, I believe, Taylor bear trash willowy. That's what I saw. And then when I looked again, there's someone else in Colorado that claims that they invented it. So, well, I don't know. I'm tying it because of Gary Barnes, not because of anyone else. I've tied them before. It's been a while. I fished them. It's been a while, but I'm going to fish them more here in East Tennessee. And I'm going to have in my box more often this exact flavor, size 16. So with that said, if you want to switch back out to one of the other cameras, we'll switch over. I'll go over the materials. Very, very simple. You need a dry fly hook in the size. You guessed it, 16. I'm going to use the Timco 100, which is a very basic, no frills dry fly hook. As you can see, for a lot of you guys might be saying, well, that's a barbed hook. And yes, sir, yes, ma'am, it is a barbed hook. I am a wiener when it comes to putting droppers on, and I like that barb to hold a dropper on. I don't like at least having the option to do it. And if I'm not putting a dropper on, I'll just pinch the barb. It works just fine. Your nippers, your hemostats work pretty well for pinching barbs down. So that's why I leave the barb on. But you want just a standard shank. I really like the Arex Freshwater 503, that light wire, but that one has a wider hook gap, but the shank's a little shorter. And that one, it kind of makes it like a stubby Renegade, and it just doesn't quite look right. So just a standard dry fly hook is fine. Then thank you, Truman, for getting out some Chris's, because Chris, I might have missed him saying Truman to you, but I'm in here. And Steve, yeah, you're right. And you know, I was asking Pat Dorsey a while ago. I was like, why don't you use barbless hooks? Why are you doing that? Like, man, on a size 24, barbs aren't that big anyway, and so he leaves his barbs on even when he's fishing them. But he's also fishing with clients all day long, and I guess any little bit.
Unless he's in a place where you can't have barbs, and I'm sure that he abides by the law 100%
Absolutely.
of the time. Disclaimer.
Absolutely. And like I said, normally he's tying his flies on for someone else to fish, but Pat is phenomenal. So he's fishing Maryland records, not fishing catch and release areas with the low temperature. Yep, Jim, you're correct. I think we were talking about that a second ago. But anyway, freshwater, Timco 100. I'm gonna use some peacock herl. Now I've got strong peacock herl, and I've also got the eyes. I'll show the differences of both, but just peacock herl. I have a brown saddle hackle, and I've got a variant. It might be a cream. I don't know. No, it's just a variant, but like a creamy saddle hackle. Kind of creamish. Go swim and eat watermelon. Steve, I could give you if my phone was working, I would show you a picture of me swimming and eating watermelon.
We did that this
in the
weekend,
river
and we did not fish.
No, we didn't fish.
There were
at
no
all.
fish to be found. Not really.
Well, we saw a bunch of them.
Yeah,
Well, not a
but
bunch, but
they weren't like.
or it could be like Wes. Wes fishes the Smokies, or Wes.
War paint shiners aren't
he-
exactly what I
He
was
caught
going
a
for.
big old carp. Carpe
Oh,
diem.
carp don't
Carpe
count.
diem, baby.
Like when we're all
I
gone
need to go
after
with Wes and go
nuclear
carpe
after
diem.
nuclear apocalypse, the carp will still be there.
Yeah, well, I want to. That can be our first
That's
the Moose Fly
different.
Fishing T-shirt. We're going carpe diem.
You're crazy. Go get to time.
Okay. Yes, bass fishing as well. Okay, so dry fly like that, some hackle, and that's about it. Normally I use black thread. I'm using red thread because, why not?
Why not?
Why not? So we'll put this bad boy here. I'll get another hook to throw it in here. Put one there so I can get to it. Okay, so the neat thing I'm able to show. Oh, and I'm going to use this right here for the on the tail, which is here it is.
Flat tinsel.
Flat tinsel. I think this is
It's like
1/16 of an inch.
black gold.
1/69 of an inch. Excuse me, 0.4 millimeters. So this is pretty small stuff. If you want to, you can use wider tinsel and overlap it, but I'll call it the smaller stuff better. So the one thing I want to show you quite a bit is how, if you're not familiar using the true rotary on your Renegade or on whatever vise you've got, using the rotary feature makes this a little bit quicker tie. So I'm gonna bring my thread all the way back to the rear like so. Ooh, let's switch over to the side view again. Maybe I can show you. Oh, shucks, I can't. So right where my finger is pointed down, I've got another one of these little vise ponds here. These are loon. These are kind of silly when you think about it because they're just magnets, but they're also not very expensive. But I use these to hold material. So this little piece of tinsel would go lost in half a second if I didn't keep it down with magnet like that. So grab a magnet or grab one of these vise ponds and keep your materials a little bit more organized. So we'll switch it back over to the hookster. I'm gonna hold this at an angle right there. Put one wrap in like that. See how I got that in there. Pull it to length a little bit, and now we're just gonna go down the hook shank. Now I like it to be somewhere between halfway down and 3/4 of the way down. So I don't want it to be all the way at like I don't know what's called, what mark to say it is. So roughly there's what I like it. I don't want it to be exactly so it'd be facing down like halfway down. I don't want it that far down, but I want it more than just like a little tag. So right about there is where I've got it, and that's where I like it. What's up, Mark? What's happening? Okay, so there's a couple ways you can do this. You can rotary it like this, and this is just a quick, easy way. The next one I do, I won't rotary as much, but you can just do it like this and bring it right up to here. So we've got, as you can see, that's nice and covered, and that was quick. We'll undo those wraps because I don't want there to be unnecessary wraps. Now we're going to do some tighten this up. We'll cut this off and put it back under my magnet. I'm bad. I sit here and talk about putting your stuff under the magnets, but I'm bad about still dropping it and not paying attention. So now I'm gonna bring this back to the rear where right before the hooks goes into the hook bend. So right about there. Easy enough. Are y'all getting a lot of rain up there? I probably should know that, and I apologize. I don't. Our rain we're getting, if we get any, is I think we got some yesterday for the first time in a while, and it lasted about 5 minutes.
Didn't last long at all.
Nope. So we've got our hackle here, just saddle hackle that's been sized. I would say in this pattern, the key thing is that your white and your brown are are as close to being the same size as possible. If they're a little bit longer, that's okay. If a little bit shorter, it's okay. But keeping them the same length is important. So we'll take this. I'm just going to strip off just a little bit. That, maybe a little more. Okay. Oh, sorry, I thought you could see that. So that's how much we got stripped off. I'm gonna hold this at an angle. Let's make sure I've got that. Yeah, that was good enough. Okay, so I've got that tied in now. And now I'm going to take the thread and just with big open spiral wraps, I'm going to do 3 wraps. I'll go 1, 2, 3. So I know I've got 3 wraps. You can see where that is now. I'm going to take my bobbin so you can see where the thread is now. So let's switch back over to the side. You got it perfect. Good job. So I've got my bobbin cradle here. I'm going to bring it over here. If you notice, I didn't put a knot. I didn't do anything with this thread. Just watch. Let's go back and forth, Katie. Switch back to the hook. So I've got the thread here. There's no knot, because a lot of times you see people that put half hitches, or they'll whip finish, or they'll do something so it doesn't slide off the hook shank. I want to show you something. If you take your thread, bring it up and bring it down, it doesn't slide off. You can do whatever you want to both ways. And all I did is I just thread up, down. Because it's works really good with jigs. It works really good with hooks. Yeah. But the where it's a down eye, that little bit on the hook eye makes it to where it holds that thread. So it's not gonna you're not gonna lose all your work. So I can go this way all I want to, this way all I want to. The problem I'm running into right now is my saddle hackle so long it was about to get tied up. What's up, Mike? Just got power back on. Well, chasing feathers, Mark was talking about it rained straight for 16 hours, and he's been dealing with some weather too. Thankfully, we haven't been dealing with that too much. Just the heat that some other people have been talking about. It's been lots of fun. All right, so I'm going to take my feather, hold it straight up, and you can kind of be careful in getting the first wrap in there. So I do want the wrap to go in front of the. So that's 1 wrap. 2, okay. 3, 4, 5, 6. Look how easy that is. 6. Fast storm's going through central Pennsylvania. That's terrible. Well, if it's hot up there, hopefully the storms are cooling it off a bit.
Okay, so you just did something. Now tell me what you just did.
Okay, so I just now unwrapped those. Remember, when we did that, I put 3 wraps in to start with. I think I just unwrapped the 3. I might have done a 4th one, but I just got the thread back to where my hackle is. I'm gonna bring my thread up, pull this feather down a little bit, and put a wrap there. So now I've got 1 wrap holding that hackle feather in. 2, 3. So that's in there pretty good. Thread control is important for sure. So now let's lop this off. Now, if you notice, I'm not cutting it off super flat or super tight. I'm leaving that a little bit on the long side. I'm getting rid of a couple of these barbs. These fibers are going to get in the way. And now I'm going to, speaking of thread control, this is kind of neat. So if I'll just kind of loosely put the thread here and then pull it forward. See how it slid forward? Same thing here, pull it forward. Here, pull it forward. So I just did 3 wraps, now 4, and I've got that covered up and didn't push it, didn't rotate it, didn't do anything too crazy. And so when you look at the monitor, you can see the giant hackles I missed. That's good enough. All right, so I'm going to bring
It's fine. Gary's just going to cut it off anyways.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct. All right, so now I got my thread back to where it started. So this is what we're looking like so far. All we've done is wrap some gold tinsel and some thread. So just for the fun of it, I'm going to take peacock eye. I'm going to grab this fiber right here, cut it off, take it by the tip. That's how I do it. This is not super long. I'm going to tie it in about here. So I just hold it at an angle like this. Which one, Randy? The brown? Because it probably that's all I've really shown. Right. So I've got that tied in there, and I want to make sure that my hackle is going to start right next to that. The peacock is going to start right next to the rooster hackle. And when I get to the front, not all the way to the front, when I get to where I want to break this off, I just grab this and I just break it off like that. Now, just like we did before, put a couple wraps in to where it's right there by the eye. And you don't have to get it all the way right there by the eye, but man, pull this up, down, now we're ready to go. Okay? So Katie will do her back and forth with this. This is a lot harder looking down at a spotlight when you're doing this. Hopefully this is looking okay. So I'm just wrapping this on. It's about there. And then we'll undo those 2 wraps. 1, 2. Take this down. 2, 3. And we'll put 1 to grow on. Pop that off. Good stuff. Does it look okay?
Looking good.
Sweet. Now I'll just bring the thread back. We're going to do the exact same thing, but with the white one. Like I said, the hardest part, or not hardest part, but the most time-consuming part is just getting your feathers so they're the correct size. So all I'm doing now is just tearing off some of the fibers. So I've got bare stem. I'm going to measure. I want to cut a little bit of this off. Still might cut a little more off in a minute, but do that right there. Put 1 more. Now we go forward. I want that to be just a little. When it gets close like that, I worry that it's going to cover up or get close to the eye. Now we got a nice smooth base. See that smooth little thread base, brown. Thank you. A brown hackle is nothing, not much fancy, but anyway. So once again, same thing. Thread up, bring my bottom cradle back around, and just lay it down. So see, since Katie's got it back up, I just put my thread straight up, bottom cradle, set it down. No need to put a bunch of knots in there. And the reason I don't like putting knots in there, unless I have to, is if you're doing something and something breaks, there's no real untying your knots. You just have to just undo it and either cut it or just tie over what you already tied. But if there's no knot there, then you can just undo everything.
So if there's not a knot.
If there's not a knot, you can undo everything correct. So the brown, do you remember how many rats of brown we did? Anyone remember? We did 6. So here's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's close to crowding the hook, but we're going to get 6 in there. It's going to look nice. 1, 2. One more. 3. See how it's looking right there?
4, 5, 6.
That's right. Okay. So now we got, let me get this out of the way. So now we got our hackle tied off. 6, 4, 5. There we go. Thank you, Steven, and thank you, Katie, for echoing Steven's comment. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure I'm the only one that just starts counting to yourself when there's really no reason to count, but you know. All right. Cut this off. And now we've got our Renegade done. We can use whichever.
Good. Whoa.
You don't like my tip here?
Oh, it's a little bit
Crusty.
Yeah, you got some stuff on it.
No, you think?
I mean, it gets the job done.
Yeah, probably ought to
I
take
just
that
don't
off.
want you to get clogged or something.
Well, I might. I definitely might. Now, someone said dubbing loop, and you could definitely, if there's a bunch of different ways that you can strengthen this, but you know that you can make that look a little bit fancier too. But you could run mono through it. You could run wire through it. You could put the peacock curl and dubbing loop. And there was Todd Turner said, I'm trying to remember what it was, about putting dubbing in with your peacock, and you definitely could do that. I haven't tried it. It was Gary technique, and Gary Barnes might have heard about it. But dubbing loop, put a little bit of dubbing in the dubbing loop, and you wrap your peacock with it. So you're just putting dubbing with it. I've done it without the dubbing, and then it just gives it like more of a halo. I almost feel like this is a little small to put a lot of dubbing, make it much more, but
that sounds cool.
It does kind of sound cool. So we'll try it. I haven't done it yet, but here's just your standard basic. No big deal. Shouldn't take it too long. So let's do another one with that one with peacock modification.
Ooh.
Katie can blow through the back and forth on the camera angles. You guys can ask questions as I go, but we'll make this one a little bit quicker, except for the middle of it. And I say quicker as long as I can find my thread. That will help. And Gary, thank you so much for the inspiration on getting this fly tied tonight, because without you, and I didn't even borrow one from, I'm usually good about quote borrowing flies from you, and
it's like, here, you want your fly back?
And you're like, nope, not anymore.
So what size hook, what kind of hook is this again?
This is size 16 Timco 100.
Okay.
There's a standard dry fly hook's all you need. Don't overthink it. Got that wrapped up. Now I said I was going to do this one a little bit different. So if you want, you don't have to. You don't have to, if you don't have a rotary vise, you can still tie them. And it's not that it's going to even take longer. It's just a different technique. And it's not that one's better or one's worse. But if you're able.
You have to pass it over, though. You have to let go of it.
Yep. Okay. One, 2, 3. Offered you one. Well, I'm sure you did offer me one. I I don't remember getting one, and I don't remember fishing it. I just remember you doing well with them.
And I love them too, Gary. I was glad that you finally tied this one.
Yes, but I tell you, Gary's one of those guys that you can put whatever fly you want to in his on his end of his rod, and he'll make it work. I'm not just saying that because he's sitting here watching. He's a pretty good fisherman. He's also one of those guys that you can watch over him and he won't fish. He'll just watch for a while. So we got that done just like before. Just flop this thing around. And you know who else is a good fish watcher and not just fish for the sake of fishing? It's Craig Matthews. Stream side prices apply $14. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. No, I think stream side is more like when you're up there in Alaska or anywhere, priceless. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That one didn't wrap quite as good, but no worries at all. 2, 3.
Oh yeah, I like where you're going with that, Truman.
True. Yellow and black work good too. Absolutely. Now, I mean, think about how this is. Midge clusters is another way, another thing this could imitate, but here in East Tennessee, and maybe they do. I don't know, but we don't get big midge clusters like y'all do out west. At least I haven't seen them. Maybe we do, but I have not seen them. We get plenty of midges, but like when I've read the book and read the books and listened to people like Pat Dorsey talk and talk about these midge clusters are coming down like chunks of foam in the water, I haven't seen that here locally. That's good enough. All right, so what we'll do is actually I probably should have left that up there. We'll grab a couple. All right, let's switch over and we'll build this thing.
Gosh, when did you get that vise?
This vise?
Yeah. 5 or 6 years ago?
More than I don't know. It's because we weren't on the Renegade team when we got it. Because I remember talking to Eric Svensson about this little spinning knob and added that. Then later on, Renegade came out with this other handle, and I added that. I'm probably the only one that has a spinning knob and the stupid handle. The handles, both of them are great. I like both of them. I say stupid; they're both really cool. And I like.
Maybe you can think of another thing that'll turn it that you can stick on there.
Yeah, there's a speed crank.
What about a pulley?
That's basically what the speed crank is.
Okay.
Let's make sure this is good. Okay, so I've got two peacock curls. And we're going to bring that back to the back like that. A little something. Dabbing loop. Pop this off like that. We use our Shemahan dubbing spinner. Truman, nope, didn't lose any in tide flight. Yeah. Come on, block and tackle. Did you raid someone's? It's a special deal for me. Unfortunately, and we get a little bit of a deal now that we're on we're an ambassador, but like I said, I bought all this stuff before we got anything at all. It was like, I wish we could have got that before we bought this. I really wanted one of those, the anniversary one, 50th anniversary. But I wasn't going to spend. I would have loved to have had it. It was just out of my price range.
If somebody's like, here, you can have this.
Yeah,
you were going to be
go.
like, oh, okay, I'll take it.
It's Todd Turner still on? Todd Turner, paging Todd Turner. Because I'm going to try to do this.
Todd here.
I don't know if this will work or not. Okay, so I've got some peacock dubbing. And like I said, my thought is this is just too small of a piece, too small of an area that we'll be dubbing for this to work. But it lasts for a trailer for almost 40 years.
Todd's here.
Okay, Todd. So the technique. What was the name of that technique you told me about? It was Gary LaFontaine's. So I'm pretty sure he takes a little bit of dubbing. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't done it. Dubbing loop. Got a little bit of dubbing, and it's going to be very sparse. I'm not going to put much in there. Spread this out.
Todd says you need to chop up the dubbing to touch dub.
Oh, we're touch dubbing it. Dadgummit. Well, I'm not touch dub.
Well, it's not going to catch any fish.
No, it's not. So we got this like this. I'm only doing this much because that's all I'm going to need. And double magic. All right, so now we're going to twist this up.
You got any Antron?
That's right. That was part of the deal, Antron. I don't think I do. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I do somewhere. All right, so let's switch it back over to the
That's
Vice.
what he says when he doesn't know where it is.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't have any. I better order something from Gary.
All right, so I'll switch it over here, and now we're do that. We'll check that out. This is how it kind of looks.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes, Steve, yes. But that's his MO is when he doesn't know where something is, he'll be like, I don't have that.
Okay. Okay. Oh, here it is. This might be like the next bee's knees here.
This is very brave of you, just to go out on a limb here and be like, let me try this. Isn't it amazing how peacock feathers look like that in nature? Like how pretty that is. Honey, isn't that amazing?
Oh, honey, it's so amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
very, very, very amazing. Okay. So you can see we got nice little bit of a sparkle there. It's kind of
You get the idea of like where this
kind of cool.
where that could be. Yeah.
See that? Okay. Let's pull that back because I don't want that to get trapped down by anything we're going to tie down. Okay. Find my white hackle. Looks dang good. I think it'll be much stronger. I definitely think it's going to be stronger, for sure. Cross that over. This is thanks to Todd, and just because you guys like entertainment, I like doing it on the fly, literally live.
Oh, you're so funny.
I'm not even trying to make that pun. I just like doing it live.
Can we get some peacocks? Are we allowed to have peacocks as pets?
I don't know.
Like in the yard?
Someone might. I'd say Gary would probably know. Answer that. All right, so let's wrap this here. Make sure all that little bit of dubbing is there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do 5 on this one. Like kind of crowded a little bit with 6, even though we got 6 in the rear.
Oh, that's right, Steve. They are noisy. Remember the one up like in Gallenberg, the Roosevelt sounded like a child.
Yeah, but remember the
crying.
one in England?
Yes. They sound like a child crying or something, or a dog crying, or I don't know.
That was me, honey. It wasn't the bird. It's because I was sick after the oysters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got that tied in.
I like it. It looks cool.
There's that. Get rid of this little piece there. Okay.
I think you have a winner, chicken dinner.
So let's flip it back here. Here you go. Now you can see how that peacock is, and then probably like Todd said. I don't think he said this for the length per se, but with the touch dubbing part, he would have chopped the dubbing. But this is pretty fine dubbing here. But so we give it a little bit
Ooh, I bet, Truman.
A little bit of a haircut.
That's what I need to do when I get my goats. I'll get a couple peacocks. Or you might maybe you're supposed to have one.
Is it a couple peacock or a couple peacocks?
I think those you just add an S to that.
Yeah, probably. So, peacocks and mold feathers are great. Good and loud. Good eating. Good
No,
eating.
Steve, no.
So yeah, that turned out pretty good. I like that. So Todd, when he does when you're doing the touch dub, you're probably just using one piece of thread, touch up the thread, and then spin that around one or two hackle peacock pearls. Is
I
that
love
correct?
it. I think it looks
So,
super good.
in other words, I'm probably going to put a little glue on there, but I'll do that in a little bit. So, in other words, let's do this. Oh,
Todd says, nice work, sir. But he says, I use a loop.
Oh, he uses a loop. Okay, so do you touch stub in the loop too? Or do you, so you touch stub the loop and then do what we did? Or how's that working? Something like that? Okay, let's do, what time is it, honey? Do we do?
It's 15 till.
Okay, we'll do this last one. And we can do whatever variation you guys want. We could do synthetic peacock on the next one. I've got that one. I got the synthetic stuff out. Talk about durable.
Gary said, way to bang him out. He's got to go. Bye, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you hopping on. Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah, we're ready to come up there. Since we sold our boat, we got some more traveling funds.
See you soon, yes.
Don't have a boat, but we can
We
travel.
have traveling funds.
So let's get this wrapped up. So once you get used to using your rotary, it's just so much easier to just, as Gary says, bang them out using rotary. Now we'll put this around. Oh, and I was talking about this a minute ago. Hopefully everyone didn't just log off before I tell the story. Katie and I will be at the beach in a couple weeks. So typically the week before we go to the beach, we tie up some saltwater flies, and one that we haven't tied in a while that I really, really like tying.
The Clouser. Just kidding.
Is the Quan, which is one of my favorite saltwater patterns to tie and fish. The Quan. And obviously the Clouser. So we might tie up both of those, the Clouser and the Quan, tomorrow, next Wednesday night.
That'd be fun. We'll have to dig out all our Quan stuff.
Yeah. Guess we got that in there. So we're 3, 1, 2, 3. Bring this over. Put it on my bobbin cradle. Bring this like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we'll go 5. 1, 2. 3, 4. I'm just going to keep on counting to myself because it kind of makes sense, but not really. Sometimes I'm not really counting anything besides a thread wrap. Slide that thread forward, and I'll keep that material on top of the hook tank. Let's see what we're going to do. I thought I had the other stuff. Did Todd say whether he close one eye, hold breath, and count yourself? Yep.
All he said was it uses a loop.
He uses a loop. So I've got if I can find it anyway, the touch dubbing or the wax is here. So here's, if you're going to do.
Is there anything that I can get for you?
Nope, that's all I need. Here's if you're going to do touch dubbing, the high tax wax is what you need. And he said to cut it. So I guess before I pull this out, I might want to, I'll just set it right there. I'll call that saving for later. I swear I think we want to tie in a couple uh, peacock curls first. Let's see. But I don't know if Todd's still on to tell me if I'm doing it right or wrong. Two. So we're doing the same thing. We've got a couple peacock curls here. Thought you had your underwear on until I saw the stripes.
It does look like you're on a team because you have black shorts, black shirt.
Uh,
Like you're on a team.
well, I do have my underwear on there, Steve,
Mhm.
as well. I am wearing undies.
Thanks for letting everybody know.
Well, I didn't want that people think I didn't have underwear on.
Commando.
Yes,
What do they call it that?
because well, when I was in the Marine Corps and in Iraq, we were commando quite often. And I guess commandos might go without their undies. Skivvy draw is pretty often, maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
All right, so we got this done. We need some wax. So we got our wax here. See right here. Good job, Hey, the Loon High-Tex wax. I've told you all about waxes and how we've got a bunch of different types, tons of different kinds of wax. If you don't have High-Tex wax from Loon, this is one that you ought to have in your repertoire.
And if you don't have any of that, you can just use Dapper Dan.
Dapper Dan, man. A lot of times you can just get it from the side of the side of the thing.
Gary Hannah makes his own
He does. It's out of bookbinding glue.
bookbinding glue.
So I really don't need much. It's a problem. This big old thing. All right, so we got that done. Then we'll take our. This is gonna be the hard part. How to hold on to it.
Raymond. Oh, come on, Sharon. Everything will be like blurred out.
So I'm gonna set it there. That did not work at all. Me cutting it up. Definitely have a better place to cut up your dubbing. I'm not touching it, more like drop dubbing. Just drop it on there. I don't do way too much.
Wax one side of the loop thread.
Oh, we're double.
Then chop up
We'll say
Antron.
shove up, cut up, chop up
Antron
dubbing.
dubbing. Touch that to wax.
Yeah.
Spin it with hurl.
That's basically what we're doing.
Okay.
Except we're not chopping up Antron. And we're doing both sides because
Oh
we're.
my gosh, Misha's snoring so loudly. I wish that I could hold the microphone out.
Is it Misha? I
Yes.
thought I was taking upstairs talking.
No, it's Misha.
All right. So we got a bunch of that done. You see how it's just stuck there. So plop this right here again. That.
Steve.
Left or chop.
It is not.
Side
It's
left or
Misha.
wax one side of the loop thread and chop up and Antron dubbing, touch, spin it with hurl. So we got our hurl here. Okay. I mean, roughly, I don't really want it super long. Oh, it definitely helps stick your tongue out when you're doing this, by the way. I use plumber's wax. Which way do you spin it? I don't know. To the right, I think. Depends on which way you're looking at it, I guess. So that was 3. Probably about all I need. We'll go back and do 2. Okay. Just hold your breath. Stick your tongue out. don't know if you're seriously asking which way. I don't know. Depends on which way you're looking at it. That's what I mean. I don't know. It's normally I guess I'm looking down on it. I'm spinning. Which way is it? Counterclockwise. Look down on it. Yep. And I might have just told you exact opposite of what I do. So this is going to have same technique but chopped dubbing. So it's got it definitely has a little more flash in it. Or it's not as long. It's got flash. So let's get this. What's up, Chris? You are late. We are tying a technique on the fly that Todd Turner told us about. And we're just seeing if I can stumble my way through this. I think I'm doing okay. Hold my own anyway. Let's get this this stem. There we go. Has anyone been saltwater fishing this year? That's a good question. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can't even fit that in there, but that's because I can start back a little bit more. I'll bring this. I knew that's what happened. When I start, this is a lot like wire. When you start wiggling it back and forth, should be out quill and put it in the thread. Yeah, what you got? Pretty good. There's no video. Check this. Doing the twist and then demonstrate the touch. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, what I was saying is this. The hackle stem is a lot like wire. Once you wiggle it back and forth 2 or 3 times, you'll do exactly what I just did. And just break it all off. And if I would have tied a knot here, then I would have had to I couldn't do what I'm doing right now, which is just undoing my work. Work that back that way. Make sure I'm not tying up, hackling backwards. Are you serious, Steve? Over in Gulfstream? That sounds like a good time. I guess we weren't in Gulfstream. I fished out of Tampa last fall, and caught my first cobia. 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We'll cut this off. It'll be all done. Just like that. But anyway, the reason I said that, no worries. Got it down the water. 3 or 4 times a year. I'm not versus happy. You don't understand the tie off, like when I'm wet finishing or when I'm doing the bottom cradle. That's the question, because that's bottom cradle is pretty easy, and that's probably before the cradle. Let me just do a quick whip finish here, and I'll show you, because that is kind of important. That is kind of the whole point of this. I'll pull out some of those and fix that. But it's okay for now. There we go. That one, other than those few sticking out the top, will be a good one. So here's what I mean. I'm gonna do a bigger hook just so you can see a little bit better. So now I'm not on tie another fly. we're just going to go over this one technique when you're using the um, rotary feature device. So we've got our thread. We got a thread on the hook. So we'll see a lot of people do is they might put a half hitch in like their fingers like this, and they'll do it in something like that, pull it down. So we got our half hitch, right? That looks, we'll say it looks good. Okay. So now it can't, like we can't untie or untie. So now we bring our bobbin cradle over and put it in here. And we've got another knot here. Got a knot right here. Sometimes you'll see people that will take a whip finish tool and then they'll bring it back like this and they'll hang their bobbin cradle, and they're getting, what they're trying to do is just get so they can do this right here. Okay. So like I said, we'll do our half hitch like so, that as you can tell I'm very skilled at. Pull it down. And we've got our little knots there. And now we're building up a big knot. And this is kind of my purpose of me saying me putting a bunch of knots there at one time. Got to start to get a bigger knot there. Yes, it will keep your thread from spinning or from sliding off as you're using the rotary feature. But let's undo this, and we'll take this right here, because it's like if you don't want to use your rotary feature, like what's the purpose in having a fancy vise? So we're going to start the thread again. And we'll pretend like I tied something in. So we'll use this little piece of this little hackle feather here. So it's tied in, and I want to wrap that with my rotary feature. Okay, ready to go, ready to wrap it, right? If I just don't use my bobbin cradle and just leave this hanging here, so I want thread hanging here, and I wrap, see how it's wrapping my thread. If I unwrap, it's unwrapping my thread. And that's not good. I want my thread to hang off my bobbin cradle and spin and not wrap. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to bring my thread straight up and just set it in my bobbin cradle, because the thread hooks around the eye right here. So you see I bring the thread straight up and set it down. The thread kind of hooks around the eye, but yeah, I can bring it back and start tying again. Do what I need, capture that off, then bring it back towards the front, hook it off, and then I'm ready to spin. So I can spin this all day long. I'm not spinning, I'm not loosening or tightening up the thread here. I'm just spinning this around. Now it is putting twist in the thread, but that's kind of a whatever. But this actually you'll see really good from this angle here. So right there, you can see how the thread is hooked right there around the eye, without a knot, without anything. What's that, Ryan? And I can spin it like this, and I'm not putting more wraps on the hook, and I'm not taking wraps off the hook. I'm just doing that. So now I can hold this up, and we can do a woolly bugger. We can do a whatever we wanted. Bring this down. And this literally was just a scrap piece of feather here that I grabbed just to show you how putting something in. There we go. And so that's just rotary. I won't say rotary 101. It's rotary that I don't see a lot of people doing. A lot of times people try to put a knot behind the eye. And if the feather would have broken and wanted to undo this with that knot behind the eye, I can't undo that knot. I've got to just wrap back on top. So not putting the knot in allows you to fix mistakes easier. Not putting the knot in also makes the time process easier. So hope that makes sense. That's your little tip for the day. You can switch back over to me, honey. We'll always have half hitched. Yep, you can, and keep on half hitching. There's nothing at all that works. But I'm pretty sure you've been tying for quite a while, and I bet you there have been times you put a half hitch or two in there, and you're like, "Dang, well, the chill broke, or I forgot to put this, or whatever." So you basically have to just wrap over your half hitches, tie some more stuff in, and come back and put more half hitches in. This allows you to undo your work a little bit easier. And most hooks, you can just where that hook eye is bent down, or it's a jig hook, you can just bring it around and it just kind of hooks on that eye, and um, you don't have to worry about undoing anything. So kind of a cool little trick there. Dr. Jason Stevenson, it is totally fine. We've got a rewind function.
That's
No
right.
problem. And the guys on YouTube, darn it, I forgot to zoom in.
On Instagram.
I mean, yeah, doggone Instagram. Yes. Guys on Instagram, I forgot to zoom in. I'm just kind of curious what this will look like if I do zoom in on it. So if there's any other questions, ask now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, we will see you guys next Wednesday night as we're tying some. That angle is kind of hard to see on Instagram. We'll see you next Wednesday night as we tie up some saltwater goodies. So let us know what your when you break something, you're like, oh darn it, dadgummit. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris. Thanks to everyone who was watching us and asking questions. Feel free to email us your renegades at Demuth_flyfish. No, is it underscore?
No.
Demuthflyfishing@gmail.com. You can tag us on Instagram so we can share them next week. And get out there and watch the water temperatures if you're fishing. Otherwise, like people said, fish for bass, fish for carp. All right, John, right at the end. I'll catch up and watch next week. Dust, yes, come over and join us on YouTube. You can
And
rewind
remember
there.
that there's no stalking in Gatlinburg this summer due to the facility being closed for renovations.
Stalking.
Stalking. Well, there's no stalking
There's no
either.
stalkers. There was a bear issues. Anakista lady cut by a bear.
Yeah.
Anakista TWRA, you're going. They're going to fight that bear problem.
Yes. And also, if you would like to enter sweepstakes to win a trip to the outpost in Alaska for a fishing trip, please see the pinned post at the top of the messages and go to virginiatu.org to enter our sweepstakes.
Yep.
Courtesy of James
Wilson.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We love coming and chat with y'all every Wednesday night. If there's something you want to see next Wednesday night or you got any questions, let us know. Look forward to hearing from you. See you guys.
Bye, guys.